Welcome back to the last question in the Solve Questions series. Today we're going to look at another question from SPM 2005. It's the fourth structured question. Okay, so the table shows positive and negative ions. Copper 2 sulfate, sodium sulfate, lead 2 nitrate. You can see positive ions and negative ions. Now, what is another name for a positive charged ion? Okay, the answer is very easy. Cation. So cation is positive ion. So always remember, cats are positive ions. Cats are always positive. Okay, name the ions in copper 2 sulfate solution. So you want to name this ion. So this is copper 2 ion. Okay, the name itself will tell you. And this is sulfate ion. Okay, actually it's like free mark. Sulfate ion. Okay, next question. Write the formula for sodium sulfate. So sodium ion is Na plus and sulfate ion is SO4 2 negative. And because of these 2 negative, you need 2 Na positive ions. Okay, so that there are 2 positive ions to balance out the 2 negative ions. So the formula is Na2, okay, 2 Na's and SO4, just one SO4 sulfate ion. When 10 cm cube of 0.5 mole per dm cube sodium sulfate solution is added to excess lead 2 nitrate solution, a white precipitate is formed. Let's write the equation. Okay, sodium sulfate. So we have already written that. Sodium sulfate is added to lead 2 nitrate. Okay, so lead 2 is Pb2 plus ion. Nitrate, okay, is NO3 negative. Nitrate, NO3 negative. Okay, so that is Pb nitrate. And you just change partners. Okay, sodium is a positive ion. You will partner with nitrate, which is a negative ion. So we have sodium nitrate. And this Pb2 plus, okay, is a positive ion. We will partner with the sulfate ion, which is a negative ion. So you have PbSO4. And you need to balance the equation. Alright. So there are 2 sodiums. Okay, so 2 sodiums on the left side of the arrow and on the right side of the arrow, 2 sodiums. Okay, then you have 2 N's. Right, correct. There are 2 N's here. 6 O's plus 4 O's. Then you have here 6 O's plus 4 O's. So everything looks balanced already. So that's your 2 marks. Now describe the chemical equation. Describe. So you have to write in a sentence what this equation is about. Right? So you just write how many moles produces how many moles and how many moles. Okay? So we write 1 mole of sodium, everything in full words. Sodium sulfate. Okay, this is a solution. All sodiums are soluble. Okay, solution reacts with, okay, this plus here, we say it reacts with. All nitrates are solutions. So we say 1 mole lead 2 nitrate solution. Okay. So arrow now. How do we explain arrow? We say to produce. To produce. I can't write over here, so I'll write here. Oops. Okay, to produce. Phosphorus Okay, I'll just write it here. To produce okay, to produce what? How many moles? 2 moles. 2 mole NaN. Oops, I'm supposed to write it full words. 2 moles of sodium nitrate. Okay. Now this is a plus sign, so you write N. And how many moles of this? 1 mole of, what is this? Lead 2 sulfate solution. Okay. Something wrong here. This is not a solution. So you got to be very careful. Okay. Sulfate, all sulfates are soluble except for Persatuan Bahasa Cina. So PbSO4 is insoluble, BaSO4 is insoluble, CaSO4 is insoluble. So this PbSO4 okay, is insoluble. Lead 2 sulfate is insoluble. So this is actually a precipitate. Okay, so it produces 1 mole of lead 2 sulfate precipitate. Okay, maybe what I should have done was to move this question to another page. Okay, so yeah, and let's move on. So the next question will ask you what is this? What is the precipitate? Okay, so that's the next question. So we know that the precipitate is lead 2 sulfate. So we want to name the precipitate. Name, okay. So you have to write the full name. Lead 2 sulfate. Okay. Next question. Calculate the number of mole of sodium sulfate in the solution. Okay. So we look back at the question. Now it says here, sodium sulfate 10 cm cube, that is your volume, 0.5 mole per dm cube, that is molarity. So 10 and 0.5. Number of mole of sodium sulfate. Okay, 10 and 0.5. So 10 is the volume, 0.5 is the molarity. Yeah? So this is mV over 1000. So let's check back. M, is it 0.5? Yes, M is 0.5. Sodium sulfate. And volume is 10 cm cube. Okay, volume is 10 cm cube. So we have to divide by 1000 to change it to dm cube. Okay, so number of mole, sodium sulfate, mV over 1000. So answer would be 0.005 mole, this answer. Now calculate the mass of the precipitate form. Okay, I will rewrite again the equation here so that it's easy for us to refer. Okay, this is the equation that we had written earlier. Okay, so from the equation, we are only interested in Na2SO4 because Na2SO4, we know the number of mole. Okay, and we are also interested in the precipitate that is formed because we want to look for the mass of the precipitate formed. So which one is the precipitate? Nitrate, sodium, all are soluble. So it cannot be the precipitate. So this must be the precipitate. Lead 2 sulfate. All sulfates are soluble except for Persatuan Bahasa Cina. So this is the P Persatuan. Right? Lead 2 sulfate is a precipitate. Okay, so from the equation, we can see that, okay, I'll write it here from the equation, 1 mole of sodium sulfate ratio with 1 mole of PbSO4. Now we already know the number of moles of this sodium sulfate in the previous question. So we write it down, 0.005 mole sodium sulfate. So because 1:1 ratio, therefore this will also be 0.005 mole of lead-2 sulfate. Okay. Although they are the same, we need to write it out because marks are given when you show the ratio. Okay, sometimes we do shortcut and we say, no need lah, since it's 1:1, right? But we still need to show it out because there will be marks given. And from here, number of mole, we can use the triangle formula to find mass. The question is asking us to look for mass. So mass is equal to number of mole times molar mass. And how do we get molar mass? We add up all the RAM that is given in the square bracket in the question. Okay, so mass of the precipitate form, which is PbSO4, is equal to 0.005 times molar mass. Okay, let's add up the molar mass for PbSO4. Okay, this question is wrong. It should be 207. Okay, the RAM for Pb is 207. So Pb is 207. S, add it up, is 32. Okay, O is 16. And there are 4 O's. So times 4 lah. So we add up all this RAM. This would be the molar mass. Okay, so add it up. You should get 303. Okay, so you times these two numbers together, 1.515 gram. And that is your answer. Okay, so that's the end of this question. Thank you for watching.